Yeah, good afternoon all. It's Bob from Messing About. If you have a look at this mess behind me, this fucking messy shed. I've been telling myself for the last probably 8 weeks that I'm going to clean it up. So I'm going to attempt to start it now. I've got shit everywhere. You know what, I've cleaned it a number of other times, and then when I do it I tell myself, oh, it's never going to get messy again, but guess what happens? It gets messy again. So I've watched on YouTube and people click their fingers and it just happens magically. So I'm going to attempt that today. And after I do that, I might do a little bit of a setup on my adventure bike and what I pack when I go away and stuff. No worries. So we'll give it a go. Yeah, so I think this is what they do. And then all of a sudden the shed comes back clean. So let's give it a go and we'll see how it is. Well, hang on. Oh, I can't click. That's good enough. Let's see what happens. Oh, I don't know what happened. What's happened? Goodness sake. I'm like a blue Teletubby. It wasn't meant to happen like that. Nice and clean. So those clicking of the fingers does have some effect. I'll clean my shed up. Nice. But on a serious note, I guess the aim is for me now is to keep the fucking thing clean. And stop it from getting so messy, because it does get messy. But I'm sure it'll happen again. Anyway, what we might do now is I'll go through my bike setup and how I pack that. And this is just me personally. I'm not recommending anything to anyone. It's just what I pack. Obviously, as time goes on, I get a little bit more experience. I'll adjust as I go. But just quickly, that's my world radio I haven't shown you. I've got B&B bash plate there, engine guard, radiator guard. Work your way around. There's a Leo Vince exhaust, steg pegs there, tank bag, B&B rear rack here, but I want to get the plate eventually that goes on the top there. What else? Some quad lock stuff, and that's about it. I'm running those Motos Tractionator RLZ for the front, and a Motos Tractionator Adventure R for the rear. That tyre there's got about 4,500 kilometres on it. I'm not sure what that is in miles, but you fellas can work it out. Yeah, so that's it in its stock form. I've got a couple of fuel bladders there that I take. I've got a 7.6 litre, which is a US 2 gallon one, giant loop. And I've got that humongous 18.8 litre or 5 gallon one off the son-in-law, which I don't really use. Yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll run those the Krieger OS base with the Krieger 18 litre bags. I'll put that on there now and show you how I set it up. Yeah, so as I said, I run the Krieger two 18 litre bags, one on either side, the Tenere specific OS base. When you buy the OS base, you get these adapters here. They did go on there, but when I put this B&B rear rack on there, I moved them back and they still work fine. So look, those of you that haven't used this stuff before, just quickly, you get two loops like that. So a loop goes over either side like that. So that's on there like that, and then you can tension it with these. So what I'll generally do is I'll loosen it off. It's pretty difficult with one hand. So what I'll do is I'll wait there. I'll just try and put this fucking camera somewhere. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll loosen both of these off to start off with, and that'll make it easier when I put the bottom half of the bag on the foot peg. So that's the bags with the OS base mounted on the bike. And like I said, those two straps in there go around these, which you get these adapters when you buy the Tenere specific OS base. Yeah, so they fit really well. Obviously, there's nothing in them at the moment, so you can see how I run that strap, and that's why I've kept these pegs. Look, at the end of the day, I could probably get rid of them, but I've chose not to. Yeah, so that goes around. I find if you go around the outside and then under, back under there. And once you loop these, once you loop that strap around there, it's got a tab that you pull and it tightens these bags right down. I've done a fair few trips with those on there now, and they don't move around and stuff like that. I'm still in two minds with this one. I think it might fit better once I get the bigger base on here. I'm thinking about probably buggering this off anyway and getting some dry bag that I'll just tie down on there, and then I can put all the lightweight stuff in there, like my chair and my little table and stuff like that. So that's it in its unpacked form. What I'll do now is I'll show you some of the stuff that I take. Obviously this is missing things like my toiletries, a spare set of clothing, underwear, and food. Okay. When I take food, I take things like, I guess, 2-minute noodles, maybe a couple of tins of tuna, and so forth. So what I've got here, I've got 2 sleeping bags. I normally, that's a feather down one and an old army silk liner that I take. So I'll pick between these. If it's a bit colder, I'll take that one. In the warmer weather, I take that there. And you'll see that they're not in bags, and I'll explain why when I pack my stuff. I've got a lightweight chair. Okay, we all need a chair because it's bugger sitting on the ground. Then I've got a Mountain Designs table. I've got a little air mattress. I've got a little inflator there, Flex Tail, I think. It does quite a good job to inflate the mattress. A tarp that I normally put under that Krieger OSB base in between my seat and the base, and that just sits there. Protects the seat a little bit as well from chafe. These gotcha straps, if you haven't seen them before, that's there, gotcha, fantastic straps. Okay, can be used for multi-uses for that, so you normally take one of those. A cooling towel that you put around your neck and you're wet, works a treat. A little microfiber towel for when I have a little bit of a tub in a river or in a shower or something like that. My Cedar Summit pillow, premium large, just a good quality one, that one, fantastic piece of equipment. A headlamp. What have I got here? My InReach Mini 2. I usually take it like that. That's got coffee making gear, a couple of muesli bars, a couple of soups and so forth. That's how I take that. I take that one in there like that. Some wet ones, some toilet tissue or tissues. A Cedar Summit knife and fork, or what we used to call that, KFS, which is knife, fork and spoon. A Cedar Summit collapsible bowl. A little tin water bottle. The reason I take that is because trying to pour water out of your bloody Camelback into that jet boil is a pain in the arse. So I take that there, and that's what I use to top my jet boil up when I'm boiling water and stuff. What else? I've got a little thermos here that I use as a cup. So there's that one there, which has been with me for years, that thing. Haven't got the heart to get rid of it, so I'll take that with me. I've got a jet boil, that's a Sumo one, which is, in my opinion, I've had this for years, but it's probably a little bit too big for what I use it for, to put in there, but I'm persevering with it. But when I go on bigger trips, I can see myself having to get rid of that because of limited space. 2 spare tubes in there, one for the front of the bike and one for the rear. A cook set that I'm going to, it's going to take the place of that. There's a little burner in there as well. Packs down a lot smaller. I think that's a, what brand's that? That's one of those 360 brands or something like that. I haven't used that one yet, but that's what I'll end up using in lieu of that one there. So in there I've got my 12 volt compressor, and on the bike I've run a, actually I'll show you. So the battery's under the seat on this motorcycle, so I've run a bit of a heavy duty cable for my compressor straight from the battery straight up there, and that allows me to plug the compressor in. And also it also allows me to plug that USB adapter in there, and I can charge DJI batteries as I'm riding along. Yes, the Tenere has a, as we're all aware, it has a USB port down there, but that's a pain in the arse. It's good for keeping your phone charged as you're riding along, but not so much for charging batteries for your cameras and stuff like that. The tent I've got, I've had it for a long time, is a Spartan 2 hiking tent. A little bit bigger than most other tents, but hey, it's got a lot of room in there. When it's raining, I can put my gear inside the tent, and it's a really good quality tent, that one. So what else have I haven't showed you? I've got my tool roll here. So that's basically it. A few spanners there for the bike, a few sockets and stuff. What else? Some rim protectors, tyre levers, and something I did have to get to take the tyre off the front of that bike, or the wheel, is that spanner there. I think I just bought that from Super Cheap. About $17 was the cheapest place I found. Yeah, so I bought that one from there. So that's basically it. So pretty minimalistic. Like I said, I haven't got my spare set of clothing in there, like shorts that I wear at night. I normally take a pair of thongs with me, and when I say thongs, I don't mean underwear thongs. In Australia we call these things thongs, okay? They're not flip-flops. We call them thongs, so that's what I'm going to call them. All right, so I normally take a pair of those with me to take those motorcycle boots off at night. What I'll do now then, I guess I might pack that bike. I generally start with the heavier stuff like that, and I put it down low to keep the weight low. In that centre one, on top of the seat, that's where I'll put the lighter type stuff. But like I said, a bit of a disclaimer, I'm no expert. This is just the way I do stuff, and I'm surely not offering advice to you folks out there, especially those people that are a lot more experienced than me. You do what you want to do, and hey, I'll do what I want to do. It's everything that was on that table, except my tent is in there. The reason I left one of those sleeping bags, I don't put the sleeping bags in a stuff pack, is because what I do is I'll use my hands and I pack the sleeping bag loosely around all the items in there, and it seems to fill the bag out. Makes it a lot more symmetrical, which does my head in if it's not symmetrical. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, what I've also got is I've got a couple of those rock straps here that I use. So I'll put my fuel bladder under there. I've put my tent under there before and stuff like that. I guess, like I said, I'm in two minds whether I get rid of this bag and get a little bit of a bigger one so I can put my chair, my little table and all that lighter stuff in there. At the moment I've got my chair, my table, my zip boil, my water bottle, my thermos and all that stuff in this side. The coffee making gear, knife and fork is the only stuff I've got in there at the moment. So there's a little bit more room. And like I said, I've also got that there that I put my GoPro. Oh, it's not a GoPro, it's a fucking DJI that I put my, I've got this here that I put my DJI in there, batteries and stuff when I'm riding along. So that's it in its basic form. Quite a good system. There's a fairly big gap there between that and the exhaust. I've never had any problems with it hitting the exhaust. I've never had any problems with it moving. Once it's on there, it's quite rigid. The only other thing I do, like I said, is I'll put that blue tarp up under that seat there when I pull this down, and that blue tarp sits there like that. In the event that I need it to change a tyre or stuff like that, I'll put under my tent. So yeah, that's it, ladies and gents. Like I keep saying, if you haven't, just give my video a like if you want, drop a comment, and it'd be fantastic if you could subscribe, because it helps me out, or it helps us smaller channels out. I think I'm up to 34 subscribers now, which is 34 more than I thought I'd ever have. So it would really be appreciated if you could hit the like button and subscribe and drop us a comment. Always happy to have a chat. Thank you. Bye-bye.